Off the southern coast of India lies the resplendent island Ceylon, the pearl of the Orient. Famous for tea, precious stones, and tropical beauty, Ceylon is about the same size as West Virginia, or half the size of Britain. After centuries of foreign domination, Portuguese, Dutch, and then British, in 1947, Ceylon took her place in the world of free nations. Colombo is the capital of this youngest dominion in the British Commonwealth. One of the most popular ports of call in Asia, Colombo is a garden city of colorful contrasts, exotic oriental life, and luxuriant tropical vegetation, combined with all the modern amenities found in progressive Western cities. A town of historical landmarks, a shopping center, a seaside resort, a peaceful stopover. Colombo is a versatile city. Nestling around a placid lake lies Kandy, historical capital and stronghold of the old Sinhalese kings. Founded in the 15th century, Kandy was the last part of Ceylon to fall into the hands of foreigners. Many of the tourists who flock to Kandy are attracted by her picturesque Buddhist ceremonies. They all visit the Temple of the Sacred Tooth, Mecca of the modern Buddhist world. The most spectacular Oriental pageantry is found here in the midst of tropical profusion. The great Perahera is held every summer, complete with dancers, drummers, elephants, and chieftains in jeweled costumes. The Perahera is an ancient Kandian festival which commemorates victorious battles. A richly caparisoned elephant bears a sacred casket, highlight of the Perahera. Ceylon's principal crops are rice, coconuts, rubber, and tea, the last three of which account for over 90% of the country's export trade. Tea flourishes on the mountains and hills found in south-central Ceylon. There are countless lush green tea bushes on these hilly slopes, and the fortunes of millions are dependent on them. As a producer of tea, Ceylon is second only to India. Yearly, Europeans and Americans drink up tons of this fragrant beverage from the Emerald Isle of the East. A million acres of rice, Ceylon's main crop. But even this is not enough to feed 7 million people. In ages past, Ceylon produced sufficient food for her needs. Today, however, 2/3 of the island's area is undeveloped, while more than half its food must be imported. At the present time, the greatest exertions of the government are understandably directed to the task of increasing the land area devoted to food crops. Since the dawn of the island's history, the Ceylonese and their oxen have been toiling in the picturesque rice fields. Women, too, are included in the labor force. One of their special tasks is to pound the paddy, a rice refining process that requires strong but graceful coordination. Since the earliest times, Ceylon has provided the world with precious gemstones of fantastic beauty. The mines, located in Ratnapura, the city of gems, are still worked by centuries-old primitive methods. In spite of these crude mining techniques, gems aplenty are found in this area. The gravel the miners dredge up is washed in baskets, and the stones, if any, will settle to the bottom. The supply of fabulous gems seems inexhaustible. Star sapphires, garnets, topazes, and rubies. A fortune lies in the palm of a hand. Sunny Ceylon is surrounded mainly by the waters of the Indian Ocean. Around the coast are chains of great lagoons, sheltered bays, and palm-fringed shores which set the scene for an important island activity, fishing. A common but picturesque sight in Ceylon waters, against the sunset, colorful fishing boats return to port with their day's haul from the sapphire blue waters. Here at last are those romantic red sails in the sunset we've all sung about but seldom have seen. In Ceylon, where animal life is extremely abundant, elephants roam wild through the forests. As they make good beasts of burden, harnessed elephants are common and are even used sometimes for plowing rice fields. Here they plod patiently for their masters on their way to, of all things, a refreshing bath. Many a pilgrimage has been made in the last 1,400 years to mysterious, brooding Sigiriya Rock, a monument to crime, where a wicked 5th century Sinhalese king retreated to reflect on the murder of his father. The rock is the ghost of the fairy tale city built by the king, a landmark in history and a treasure house of rare and ancient art. The wicked king surrounded himself with massive ramparts, circular stairways, and an exotic art gallery. Atop the summit, he lived a riotous life in a fabulous royal palace. The portraits of 21 ladies are the only secular pictures known to ancient Ceylon art and intrigue modern-day experts. Verdant jungle roads lead to the ancient cities of Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa. At different times in the past, each of these cities was capital of the Sinhalese monarchy. Most familiar sight here is a breathtaking clutter of crumbling stonework, including dagobas, structures built to enshrine sacred Buddhist relics. These vast acres of ruins stand as tribute to the great artistic achievements in the history of this enchanted isle. 2/3 of Ceylon's people are of Sinhalese stock, and the majority of them are Buddhists, many of whom come to worship before these age-old images of their ancient religious leaders. study of these ruins reveals architectural wonders of surpassing beauty, reminders of the pomp and power of vanished civilizations. It's worth visiting Ceylon if only to gaze upon her curiously carved moonstones, semicircular slabs of stone on which artists of amazing skill express their wondrous talents. A picturesque sight, Buddhist priests, whose temples are open to the heavens, sound the call to worship. For centuries, the devout of many creeds have been making pilgrimages up the long trail to Adam's Peak, best-known mountain in Ceylon, visible at sea for miles. Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, and the Eastern Christians with the tradition of St. Thomas, who preached the gospel in India some 1,500 years ago, to all of them, Adam's Peak is holy. In order to reach the summit before dawn, tourists begin their climb after dinner. Sunrise is an unforgettable sight, for the view from Adam's Peak is one of the most imposing in the world and inspired ancient travelers to name the mountain after the first created man. The call to worship is sounded once more in the Emerald Isle of the East, sunny Ceylon.